Hi everybody, and welcome to Coffee and Crafting. My name is Elizabeth and I'm with Country Peony. And Country Peony is a DIY and craft blog, and I focus on simple, inexpensive crafting projects and whimsical spaces. So thank you so much for joining me. I love to have a cup of coffee after my lunch, and I love to get crafting. So if you are here, I would love to know where you're coming from. And I am here based in Texas, near LaGrange, Texas, in between Austin, Houston, and San Antonio. I've got a studio space that used to be an old general store. We renovated it, and now I have this beautiful space where I can create in. And so today I thought it'd be fun to talk about some of my favorite products and also showcase my new Halloween holiday tree. So let's get started. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them below, but I'm just so happy you're here, and we can just have fun. So the first product I want to highlight is, so in my house, I have this peel and stick wallpaper on our stair risers. We have an old farmhouse, and it's got amazing charm, but I want to continue to add more charm to it. So I added some peel and stick wallpaper. And this is the peel and stick wallpaper that I added. It's a stunning folk wallpaper. It's super strong, it's amazing. It's really easy to apply. And once I started talking about it, people were asking me, Elizabeth, how hard is peel and stick wallpaper? I'm scared to try it, but I don't want to invest in it. I don't want to invest in the time or the money. And if it's been on your heart, then I recommend doing it. It is very simple. It's pretty inexpensive, especially if you start in a small area. I always recommend starting in like on a stair riser or a small area in your home and then working your way up. So I wanted to feature this wallpaper today because I'm going to be using it again in our living room. So our living room has amazing nooks and crannies. It's really cool, but there's a special spot in our media cabinet area where I don't know what to do with it. It's really strange with the way that the wall works. And so I thought I could really accent that by adding some fun wallpaper. So that's what I'm going to be doing. And I wanted to highlight this wallpaper today to hopefully inspire you, whether or not you use this wallpaper, or even if you use wallpaper at all, to add some fun personal touches to your space. And I will mention that if you want to see any of the items I'm talking about today, I put them in the description below, so you can check that out. So if any of you have any questions about wallpaper, let me know. I've done peel and stick in my home, here in the studio, and then I've done pre-pasted and traditional wallpaper as well here in the studio. Okay, so the next item I want to talk about is the tassel makers. So these are really fun. Last year, I made this really cool ghost tassel garland. So full transparency, I am more of a fall girl, fall decor girl. I'm not really into spooky and scary with Halloween. I prefer the cute and charming. And so this was kind of my deep dive into the Halloween cute and charming. And I asked a question on Facebook last week. And honestly, it was a mixed bag. Some of you love Halloween, some of you are not crazy about decorating for it, and most of you prefer the cute and whimsical like me. So you're in good company. So I made this last year. I put it in the description below. And I wanted to highlight these tassel makers because even though, yes, you can make your own with cardboard, I love these tassel makers because they're so simple and you can just make a whole bunch of them. Honestly, it's really fun just to hand my daughter, who's 7, a ball of yarn and these tassel makers and some scissors, and she just has so much fun with them. So tassels like pom-poms are really cute. You just add them to fun things. So I put the link below for the blog post for that if you want to check out your own tassel maker. And then I also have the blog post for this really fun and whimsical Halloween decor that I made last year. This will get you started. Maybe to start doing some fun Halloween decor if fall is not your thing. Okay, and then the last thing I wanted to highlight, my favorites, are these earrings. So they're so cute. And I personally love the deeper pink for fall. These were just a bit over $10 on Amazon. They're really lightweight. I've had them for years and I really, really like them. So I also put the link in the description below. So if you want to check those out. Okay, so before we get started, let me know if you have any questions about any of these products or any projects that I'm working on. So here at the studio, I am in full speed fall decorating mode. I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do with my mantle. Last year, I did a disco balls and pumpkin theme. The beauty with the studio is that it really lets me just play. And so I hope that you do that. I hope you feel inspired just to decorate with whatever makes you happy. Okay, speaking of that, let's get into the Halloween holiday tree. Let me move my table out of the way so you can see her in all of her glory. And I will tell you the backstory behind this really fun holiday tree. So this tree is a King of Christmas. It's a 7.5-foot flocked pink Christmas tree from King of Christmas. And I also have it linked below. But when we were renovating this space, I love Christmas so much. And I've always wanted a pink tree. And so when I saw these tall ceilings here in the studio, I knew that I needed a pink tree. And so honestly, that was one of the first purchases I made here in the studio, which sounds kind of silly, but why not? And so after Christmas, I could not put her away. And so I decided to, upon your recommendation, I polled y'all and y'all said, go for it, to decorate her for each season. And I thought it'd be kind of fun, but honestly, I had no idea how much joy it would bring me. It is so, so much fun to see it for each season and to walk into these doors and just realize, yes, I can play in here, I can have fun. And so when I was planning for the fall tree, my original instinct was to go with a pumpkin. But then I thought I could stretch my creative bones a little bit and I went with a Halloween tree because I saw these adorable ghosts from Woodpecker's Crafts. And this got my mind thinking that with just a little bit of paint and some felt, I could make some ghosts in an instant. And so that is really, I feel like these are the stars of the show. And so I went with it, a Halloween holiday tree. And honestly, as soon as Halloween's over with, I'm gonna go into my Christmas tree just because here as a craft blogger, we have to go in advance of the season. So anyway, thank you for joining me. If you're just now joining me, I am talking about my holiday Halloween tree now. So it's been funny because the internet is a really funny place. It's extremely inspiring, but it can also be funny because people have been really interested in this tree, and some people are wondering why I do it, why I waste time and money on it. And going back to, it just makes me really happy. And I feel like if something makes you happy, and just go for it. And so that's what I'm doing. So I hope this inspires you just to go for it and have a little bit of fun with your decorating this season. Whether or not you decorate for Halloween, for fall, for Christmas, whatever. I also put in the description below my other holiday trees, so you can check out my spring, summer, Valentine's Day, and my Christmas tree from last year. So the base is this really fun pink tree, and then what I like to do is I like to build on it. And so last Christmas, I added this really fun ball garland. It's this beautiful iridescent color. And let me bring this a little bit closer so you can see kind of what I'm talking about. And so this ball iridescent garland, that's a really fun base. And then what I did is I added these faux flowers all over. And so all that I did here, you can attach them with the wire, you can poke a wire through. But since this tree doesn't get a lot of movement, honestly, my kids are in here not that often, and when they are, I am keeping an eye on them. I just place them, nestle them into the tree. And that adds so much fun, whimsy, and movement, and it's really inexpensive. And speaking of inexpensive, another really fun addition to the tree are these ribbons. So with every tree I've done some velvet ribbons. I think it adds so much with minimal cost. And so these ribbons are really fun because I just did a fun long bow, and you can see some of the flockings getting on there. But I added the one with the frayed edges because I thought that was a nice nod to like a spider feel, which I thought was cool. And for these, again, you can tie them to the tree, but since this tree doesn't get a lot of movement, I just place them on there and it makes it really easy whenever I transition. Okay, and then another base for this tree are these disco balls. So I purchased a whole bunch of disco balls for an event last year, and I have since been repurposing them throughout the entire studio, and it makes me so happy. This morning I was shooting some content in here, and the disco balls were glowing around the entire studio. So they're so much fun. I highly recommend you getting at least one in your house and just enjoying it throughout the day, but it adds so much. And another great thing about these disco balls is they really are great filler, because sometimes your trees have holes in them and it really breaks up the space a bit. Okay, so we've talked about the disco balls, we've talked about your faux flowers. And with my flowers, I try to keep them to 3 colors, because otherwise it becomes too much. There's a lot going on here already. But I went with the whites and the pinks and the creams. And then I also kept it to 2 or 3 different flowers. I really emphasized the roses and the peonies, which I love. And then this velvet ribbon has been on here since Christmas because I've had pink on the tree year round. And so I've just changed out my colors for each season. So the other additions to this is I added this fun garland. This is like reminiscent of like a pom-pom, an aluminum pom-pom. And I thought it was really fun. I love the silver color of it. And I think I'm gonna do a vintage Christmas tree this year, and I think that the silver will be great. Thank you, Sonia. I love it as well, and I'm so happy you do too. So I added that, and then I also added these eucalyptus leaves as well. They've got a dark tone on them, and so not only did I like the color, but I also thought they reminded me of like bats, and so I thought that would be a really fun way to mimic bats for Halloween. So from here, I knew I needed a shining moment, and so instead of adding bats or birds or cats, I went with the ghost. And if you were here last week, we made these ghosts together, but they're so simple. I use Woodpecker's Crafts. These are the 10.5-inch wooden cutouts. Very cute. You could go either way with them. I only painted one side, and I painted them this white and then this pale pink down here. Now I did not add mounts to them, but you can do whatever. I thought it'd be really fun to string them together in different colors, and you can make a garland. But the ghosts are great because they fill in a lot of the space. So you've got so much movement going on here, and it's really fun. I just cut out some simple felt circles for the eyes, and then I hot glued some wire to the back to make these fun hangers. But again, you can string them together to make a garland for your mantle. You could make a wreath out of them. You could put them on stands and stand them up. It's really a fun DIY, very, very simple. I will have the full tutorial on the blog either next week or the week after, so stay tuned. So that is the majority of the tree, and then I'm gonna put you back a little bit so I can show you the base. And this is really fun. So I made these flower tulle disco balls last year for an event. I hung them from the ceiling, and then I turned them upside down, and they are the base for the tree. I knew for the tree I wanted something whimsical. I didn't want to go traditional with a tree skirt or with a collar, and so I thought this was the perfect addition. I also love using quilts because I love collecting vintage quilts. I think that's a great way to dress up a tree bottom. But I'd love to hear if you have any suggestions. I think ultimately my only goal is to have fun with it, and that's what I did. If it makes me smile, I think I did my job. But sometimes I have ideas and they don't always work out. And so the best thing to do is to walk away and then come back to it with fresh eyes. I find that always helps me going on a nice long walk, or just walking away, going to lunch, or just even going on a fun shopping trip, or just going thrifting to get inspired. So this is my holiday Halloween tree. I change it out each season, and it brings me so much joy. And I think ultimately that's what it's about. creating should just bring you joy and the process. And so I finished the tree this morning to get ready for today's live. It was so much fun. And I hope it inspires you to step outside of your crafting and decorating box to just add a little fun and whimsy to your space this year. So thank you for joining me. If you have any questions, I would love to hear them. Again, my name is Elizabeth and I'm with Country Peony, and we focus on simple, inexpensive crafting and whimsical spaces. So thank you again, and I will see you next Monday here on Facebook at noon Central Standard Time. Thank you guys.